Daenerys Targaryen. She says she is the mother of dragons. But would you trust her with your kids? Her father was a maniac. She palled around with Dothraki terrorists. She asked the city of Karth for a government bailout. Then she lost 3 baby dragons after placing them in an unlocked wooden box. An unlocked wooden box. This Khaleesi wants to be queen of the 7 kingdoms, but can she be trusted? Daenerys Targaryen. Wrong for dragons. Wrong for the realm. Paid for by the Committee to Protect Dragons.
We don't know anything about him.
He was never really vetted.
Is he really the true-born son of Robert Baratheon?
All over the 7 kingdoms, people are asking the same question. Who is the real King Joffrey? The people of Westeros are hurting. Winter is coming. Crop yields are falling, and the price of fuel is going up.
The cost of peat moss is through the thatched roof.
And this young and inexperienced king takes advice from a whoremongering imp and has launched an illegal war in the north. What is King Joffrey hiding? This is not our kind of family values. King Joffrey. What a bastard.
What a bastard.
Paid for by the young Baratheons for freedom. Robb Stark. He's the biggest celebrity in the North. But his father was a traitor. He arrested his own mother. His bastard brother deserted the Night's Watch. And he couldn't defend his own castle. Worst of all, Robb Stark hasn't stopped the wildlings from invading our lands and taking our jobs. He even has an illegal alien for a nanny. And now he wants to be king in the North? King? Some people say he's really a wolf. Some people say he eats dead people. We can't wait until it's too late. Send a raven to Winterfell now and tell Robb Stark to go back home. Stop eating dead people and defend the damn wall. This ad paid for by Crossbows GPS.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
When you can't find anything to watch on cable, you get bored. When you get bored, you listen to radio cooking shows. When you listen to radio cooking shows, you invite a friend over for dinner. When you invite a friend over for dinner, you use twice as many beans. When you use twice as many beans, you expel deadly farts that kill your friend's dog. When you kill your friend's dog, your friend becomes unstable. When your friend becomes unstable, you're sued for everything you're worth. When you're sued for everything you're worth, you're thrown to the streets. When you're thrown to the streets, you devote your life to world domination. When you devote your life to world domination, you become an evil fascist overlord. When you become an evil fascist overlord, old friends plot their revenge. When old friends plot their revenge, you are shot in the back of the head. And when you're shot in the back of the head, you miss your jazzercise appointment. Don't miss your jazzercise appointment. Upgrade to Indirect TV. Go online or call 1-800-IRECT-TV.
Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven Ultra Lipo Stick. Carbohydrates are bad. Our carbo-fighting antioxidant is good. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My name is Gail, and I lost like 20 pounds on Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Jared, and I lost 46 pounds using Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Zach, and I actually gained weight. This stuff sucks!
Ultra Lipo Stick is safe and easy to inject. Just 3 doses 4 times a day discreetly underneath your fingernail. Listen to this.
I used Ultra Lipo Stick and suffered from side effects like uncontrollable greasy discharge.
Ultra Lipo Stick, it turned the armpits of all of my shirts orange. This stuff is crap.
Try it today and see some real results. Ultra Lipo Stick. Not available in stores. Results may vary.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
Well, hello, my fellow Americans and all of my fellow liberty lovers across the globe. It is I, your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. And yes, I did check again today, as I do every day. It is Wednesday, otherwise known as Hump Day, May the 20th in the year of our Lord 2015. As we crest the hump of the midweek, I know some people get the midweek blues, but let not your heart be troubled, for you are here with me right now, in this very instant, in this moment of time, where all is good and all is bright, and everything will be all right. And no, I did not intend for that to be a rhyme. I'm a poet and didn't even know it. Folks, it's a pleasure and an honor to be here speaking before you again today. And if you would do me the honor of, if you have something on your mind that to add to the conversation that we're having this evening, give me a buzz or a call or a ring or a phone, whatever term that you use to dial the phone at this toll-free number, 603-835-3224. That's 603-835-3224. Now, if you do listen to this program in a replay in syndicated form, know that the program is live between 7 and 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and that at any time between those hours, you can give me a buzz at 603-835-3224, even if you cannot hear the show live, if you just have something on your mind. But, hey, feel free to listen to the show over and over again on one of the many and growing number of syndicated networks across the interwebs. I don't know the difference between interweb and internet. I'm at a loss. I haven't looked it up. I'm sure if I Googled it, I'd probably be able to figure it out and find out exactly what that means. But I haven't, so I don't know at the moment. But maybe someday when I really think that I should know it or really want to know it, then I will just go ahead and find the answer. Isn't that wonderful? How you can find an answer to something by simply just typing it into Google or Yahoo search or Bing search or what are the others? Ask a search. Didn't that used to be Jeeves, Ask Jeeves or something? Now it's just Ask. A lot of changes in the interwebs, if you will, and a lot of changes, period, with technology over the past few years. The internet doesn't look anything. If a person, just for example, if a person were to, if they were to like be taken out of society, maybe they went to jail for something, like say back in 2008. Well, let's go a whole decade. 2005. Now, 2005, what was the big social media site? It was, I do believe at that time, it was MySpace. And you had to Ask Jeeves and you had Google and things looked a lot different on the internet. YouTube, I think, was just getting started, so it wasn't really a huge thing yet. Vimeo and some of the other video channels were not up. I think Instagram wasn't around. Pinterest wasn't around in 2005. I think the biggest, if you wanted to share your photos, it wasn't Instagram. I think it was PhotoBucket was the big thing, right? It was PhotoBucket was a big photo file sharing network. There wasn't anything called Dropbox or Evernote at the time, and I think people were still trying to figure out how to actually do that in 2005. Now you fast forward, just a decade, and look what all we got. All that's changed. MySpace is struggling. They've rebranded themselves, and they're struggling just to maintain a smattering status quo of being in the top 20. It used to be the top, social network, and now they're just struggling to stay in the top 20. But we've got all kinds of other things. You got LinkedIn is all of a sudden, huge, and Twitter. 2005, there wasn't a Twitter either. I don't believe. Facebook was really at that particular point. It was still for college students. They hadn't yet gone in 2005. They hadn't yet gone to their open platform system, and just anybody could join. So things constantly change. And you have to go along with you have to keep up with those changes or you get left behind. And this is not just true in the internet or technology world, high tech world. We didn't have, 2005, I think we were just getting iPods. It was just small things, and I think that there was the MP3 player was trying to be the competitor to iPod. I had an MP3 player. I didn't get it. And I got a couple of I got a free MP3 player once, and you know how many songs this MP3, and this is how bad it was back then. I'd won a free MP3 player. MP3. It had enough storage capacity on it to hold 25 songs. I kid you not, 25 songs on an MP3 player. This is 2005, 2006. 25 songs. It was kind of useless, even back then. But today, there's no way in hell you're going to get an MP3 player with that's only going to hold 25 songs. It's going to hold 25 videos at minimum. But it isn't going to hold just 25 songs. But we didn't have, people weren't reading. There was no Kindle, 2005. There was, no ebooks. Barnes and Noble and some of the other large bookstores were still going pretty strong. As a matter of fact, Amazon was, just starting to build and go gangbusters in the used book business by bringing on outside sellers. So printed books were still big and huge and growing. 2005. And now we have, Borders is out of business. Barnes & Noble has been teetering for years now, just 10 years later. Even though the printed book is still king, ebooks have taken off. Yes, we had Netflix back in 2005. I have been a long-time Netflix subscriber. But they didn't have streaming. No. It was only disc. You had to get, the plans were you got, one disc at a time. It's DVDs. You got one DVD at a time. You got 2 or 3 or 5 DVDs at a time. And I often had the 3. For the longest time, I had the 3 disc at a time plan. There was no Blu-ray. So it was just regular DVD. And they really had no competitors because, either you got Netflix or you went to Blockbuster or Blockbuster was still around in 2005, or you had your local mom and pop shop. I think Hollywood Movies or Hollywood Video was also a big one at the time. It was like behind Blockbuster number 2 or something. And now they're all gone. They're gone. And I want you to notice something. They're gone because of innovation. Now Amazon has a streaming service, and Walmart tried to get into the streaming service, and Netflix has a huge streaming service, and we've got other types of streaming types of things like Hulu, and now even HBO. You don't need cable to get HBO now. So things continue to change, and if you stick back in 2005, you're going to get left behind. Now, this is why I bring this up. None of this new innovation, first of all, came from government. Understand that. None of that came from government. That was all private sector, and all that private sector innovation, all it did was make everybody's lives, in this country at least, better. We thoroughly enjoy all of this new technology. Sure, we may have to pay out a few more bucks for some of it now than we did back in 2005. But hey, it's all volunteer. If we didn't want to, we wouldn't have it. If we didn't want to pay for it, we wouldn't buy it. And if nobody wanted that type of service, then those companies would go out of business and they wouldn't exist. But people are paying for it willingly. Not just entertainment, but all kinds of things. Dropbox, and sure, a lot of this stuff has a free side to it, like Dropbox and Evernote and things like that. But there are also paid sides to it that pay for all of the free stuff too. And if people didn't see value in that, they wouldn't spend the extra money. None of that is government related. I don't know how many times I got to say that. But yet and still, we have these people in government who still act like this is 2005. Hell, they still act like this is still 1965. I mean, you got Bernie Sanders out there. Now, who was on Wolf Blitzer, by the way? I don't even, I'm sorry. I do not know why Wolf Blitzer. He's like a Keith Olbermann, although not as crazy. He's not batshit crazy like Keith, but at the same time, you got it. Why the hell does Wolf Blitzer have a television program? Why is he getting paid 6 figures a year? Honestly, it blows my mind every time. Wolf Blitz, yep, there he is. He's still on. Blows my mind. But he had Bernie Sanders on, and I don't. How old is he? He's like 78. I mean, good God. Can Bernie, just go and retire already. Go into the mountains of Vermont, become a hermit, and never be heard from again. And when we find out that you've passed on, we will all stand up and applaud and wish you safe journey to the other side. I'm not trying to be morbid or mean, but come on, really? He's going to take Bernie Sanders seriously. But anyway, Bernie Sanders, he's still thinking that, communism is still a bona fide government system, right? 1965, here we are. But Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders yesterday unveiled a plan to address income equality. That's all we hear is about this from the Democrats. Income equality. You know who some of the biggest income inequalityers are? They're freaking Democrats. Who was it the other day that in the House that was complaining that $173,000 wasn't enough? Well, the average American doesn't earn $173,000 a year. But to him, hey, Congress should earn more than that. Really? For doing what? I don't think most of you are worth what we're paying you now. Quite frankly. But and then we have people like, Bill and Hillary Clinton. $30 million in a year for not even having a business, just giving freaking speeches. 30 million. And Bernie wants to come on to Wolf Blitzer and talk about income equality and how we're going to equalize income by taxing those on Wall Street. Now, you better hold on your wallets, folks, because you can't tax Wall Street without taxing the middle class, meaning you and me. And I know some of you think, well, Rod, you can do. No, you can't. Well, I'm not in Wall Street. Yeah, you probably are. If you have a pension fund or a 401k or a Roth or an IRA, you're probably invested in Wall Street. If you have mutual funds, you're in Wall Street. Do you know how many millions of Americans actually have a vested interest in Wall Street right now? And not to mention, again, from 2005 to today, a lot of people have been able to set up their own types of investment account. Well, you got Scott Trade and you got the Orange account and Share Builder. There's a bunch of different ones out there that allow you to be your own stockbroker, basically for transaction fee of $3, $4, $5, less than $10 for buying and selling stocks. And you get a transaction fee of less than $10. I mean, that's nothing. You could be a day trader on that. Yeah, in 2005, day trading was big. Day trading is not so big now. I know there are still people out there doing it, but it's not done by a vast majority of people anymore. But you still have this type of person like Bernie Sanders who's still thinking 1965. Still thinking in terms of 2005. Oh, we have this huge income inequality. Well, there are people who earned a lot of money buying and trading stocks by sitting there for 6 hours a day watching their computer relentlessly, making multiple trades. But Bernie wants to tax that kind of stuff. He wants to tax trading on Wall Street. He says he can address income equality by taxing Wall Street speculation and using the money to eliminate college tuition. Oh, here we go. Look, I just heard today that the president of Yale just got an $8 million lump sum bonus. The president of the Yale University, $8 million. But Bernie's over here saying, well, we should tax these Wall Street speculators so we can make college tuition free for everybody. Now, look, college can already be free for a lot of people at a lot of private schools because they have these things called endowment funds. And yeah, I heard Yale's numbers today. Yale has an $18 billion, I think the number was $18 billion endowment fund. Do you know what $18 billion, a small return on $18 billion, it means a lot of money, millions of dollars a year, which means there could be an awful lot of scholarships, partial and full scholarships to Yale. Harvard's got a much bigger endowment fund than that. And yet Harvard still charges about, $63,000 a year. $60,000 a year to go to Harvard. And they have they have the United States private college largest endowment fund. And they still charge $60,000. But Bernie is saying, college costs too much. Hey, Elizabeth Warren was making like $400,000 working for Harvard. Where's that income equality? Not even. She wasn't even. Let's face it. Harvard, professors at most colleges, they're not teaching or involved in teaching 8 hours a day, 5 or 6 days a week. They're not spending 40 or 50 hours in the classroom and in their office. Hell no. You think Elizabeth Warren was doing that for $400,000 a year? Come on. I mean, this is insanity that we want to tax people for making an investment with money that's already been taxed. Now, understand, Bernie Sanders wants to tax Wall Street speculation, and these speculators, whether it depends on how he's going to define speculator, but understand that these speculators, they're investing and speculating with after-tax dollars, meaning they've already been taxed. They're using money that's been taxed. So Bernie wants to tax it again. You know, hey, it's called, you know, for all you folks out there who like this fair tax, you know, if you buy stuff, you pay a tax, you know, like a sales tax, you know, you'll pay for stuff, your taxes that way. Well, this is basically what Bernie says. Now, I've been telling people I was not for the fair tax. And I got to tell you, fair tax is nothing more than a socialistic taxation medium. And plain and simple. It's a socialistic idea because it will control your spending habits. And that's exactly what they want to do. If you know, hey, if we don't want you to be a speculator in the stock market, well, we're going to tax stock speculation. You know, every time that you buy and sell stocks, you're going to get taxed on it. Well, now you're not going to buy and sell stocks, at least not as often. So they're going to regulate through taxation your spending behavior. That's what the fair tax is. Oh, well, the fair tax will get rid of all the other taxes. No, it won't. It'll end up being nothing more than a national sales tax, which then will start determining how you spend your money. Okay, it's in Canada, 17%. You want to go spend 17% on top of the cost of your car? Add 17%. I mean, it's bad enough in some states where it's 5, 6, 7, 8%. But you toss on a national tax of 17% onto your state sales tax, you're looking over 20% added to the cost of that car. Well, who's going to pay for that? The fair tax, when you start looking at it, is really not so fair. It's a socialistic medium to control your spending. It control your behavior. Plain and simple. You know, it's just like, hey, we're gonna tax cigarettes, so people that raise the tax so high that people don't want to pay the tax, so they quit smoking. Well, what's that doing? That's controlling your behavior. That's controlling your spending habits. Okay, well, let's, you know, we're talking about that we want to tax sugary soft drinks and sugary snacks. And it's going to be an entry, if they ever get their way, it's going to be an entry-level tax. You know, it's going to be small, you barely notice, and they're going to keep raising it until one day, you know, that dollar candy bar ends up being $1.50, and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. You know, it was worth $1, but it ain't worth $1.50. And then your spending habit is controlled. That's the whole goal. So it isn't about income equality. It's about control, folks. Don't let them try to sidestep the issue. It's about control. Yeah, the whole notion. Well, let's go ahead and pay for tuition. Let everybody go to college for free. Well, who's going to pay for it if nobody speculates anymore? It's kind of like the cigarette taxes, right? You know, they start rising and people stop smoking. Well, they were using the money to do a number of different things, you know, like pay for, you know, in some states it was pay for uninsured children's health care. It was also used in some states to advertise, to make advertisements and promotions to get people to quit smoking. And as people bought fewer and fewer cigarettes, there was less money for the children, less money for the till for promoting anti-smoking. And all of a sudden they're like, well, we got to raise taxes in other place to make up for this. Don't doubt. It's about control, folks. It's plain and simple. And if they didn't get the money from one area, they're going to get it from another. So don't let them fool you. They haven't changed.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. Call InventHelp today.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-352-1609. That's 1-800-352-1609.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement, and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method, and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
The Rod Eccles Show.
According to Mr. Sanders, the senator from Vermont, he said it was time for candidates to do more than just talk about income equality in general terms. How about getting the government out of the way so people can do for themselves without the government doing. Look, I love these memes that go around. Again, something new in 10 years later, 2015. There weren't many memes running around in 2005, as I recall. They definitely were not viral by any means, but this whole notion of income equality is nothing more than an excuse to try to do something called income and wealth redistribution. Is you got these memes that keep going around talking, people are only making, $36 a month on welfare. And I thought, I saw one today that said $36 a month. I'm like, you know what? I am so sick and tired of these misleading and lying, just flat out lying memes. And I responded to the meme saying, oh, wait a minute. Didn't Gwyneth Paltrow say that it was only $29? Which is it? Is it 29 or is it 36? Well, we know that both numbers are bogus. But yet and still, these people still do that. They still put these lies out there. And there are a number of people out there who believe it. Oh, my goodness, it's so terrible. How can you eat on $35 or $36? Well, you know what? There are people that do that. They buy hundreds of dollars worth of groceries. They're called, extreme couponers. If you don't have any money, how about you do that? If you don't have any money or a job, maybe your job should be looking for a job, and maybe part of your job should be, acquiring the things that you need legally by paying and spending as little out of your own pocket as possible. Do something. Just don't sit there and wait for a government check. You got to make things happen on your own, or you're never going to get out of the situation that you're in. But this is where Mr. Sanders and people of his ilk want us all. They want to determine how much money is okay for you and I to earn. Because now you're going to start talking about class warfare. Oh, by the way, folks, so you can give me a call here at 603-835-3224. It's a toll-free number. But you have these people out there that want to determine how much you earn. And they want to tell you, hey, you know what? $75,000 a year. That's the limit. You make more than that, or if you make $100,000 a year, you're now rich, and you need to have a special tax on you. I mean, I think it's pretty amazing that we have such a system where a person who earns $75,000 a year can actually, because of our tax code, can actually bring home less, keep less than somebody who makes $50,000 a year. This is not a joke, folks. We have this graduated income tax and other taxes that get tossed onto income that a person, if you just earn, if you go from $74,995, then you're in one tax bracket, but you add $5 to that annual salary. And now you're in a different tax bracket, and you actually bring home less than the person who makes $75,000. You bring home less than the person who makes $74,995. And you don't make $5 less. You make hundreds of dollars less. So you're better off not taking that $5 a year raise. It's the truth. Look at the tax code. That's the way it's designed. It's designed that way on purpose, and because you have people like Mr. Sanders talking about income equality, and that the only way that you can level the playing field is by taking from somebody who's producing and earning and giving it to somebody who isn't. And now he wants to attack, other like Wall Street people. That's all we hear from the left is Wall Street, Wall Street. Wall Street is evil. Wall Street is bad. Wall Street is mean. And then when Wall Street says, well, we don't have any money because, you've taken it all or we've lost it. Oh, then all of a sudden, because then they're greedy. They don't want to share, but you've taxed them to death. Well, you're not going to give. You're not giving enough, really. Well, how much did you give? I always ask that of liberals when they start talking about, helping the poor and the downtrodden. How much have you given to causes that help the poor and the needy? And I'm rarely disappointed and shocked by the amount or by their answers. Well, it's a private matter. Oh yeah, nothing. So you're very generous with other people's money, just not your own. And if you look at a lot of liberals with financial means, a lot of them they're the same. Unless they are shamed into giving, they do not give on their own. Look at Vice President Biden. Until it was known that he was giving like less than 1% of his income, the man didn't budge from it. And then he became vice president. Biden only gives about 1% of his income every year. And then he upped it. He's probably, he's like, I got it now. In other words, as long as everything is a secret, you don't look like a hypocrite. But you really are a hypocrite. No way around it, plain and simple. If you don't give out of your own heart without being, shamed into doing it, you're a hypocrite. Plain and simple. I don't know how I don't know how else to say it, really. I don't want to say it any other way. I'm just going to tell you the truth. So he said, what we need to do is be very specific about what we're going to do about it, income equality. What we need to do is create millions of decent paying jobs by rebuilding our crumbling infrastructure. Well, Mr. Sanders, we've spent trillions of dollars doing that. It's called stimulus, son of stimulus, grandson of stimulus. We've spent all these shovel-ready jobs that turned out to be not shovel-ready after all. Oh, we were already, as much money as we've spent on infrastructure already. We should have a pristine infrastructure system. At least half of it should be pristine. And from what I understand, none of it is pristine. And I know they're talking about, roads. Yeah, a road is going to, create a job? It might create a government job because, the government, they have to hire somebody to take care of the road, right? But wait, we already have a bunch of roads that the government doesn't take care of. So how is having another road going to increase the economy and create jobs? It's not. But hey, when you talk about the private sector, the construction job, it's going to create jobs. The pipeline, the Keystone Pipeline, it's infrastructure, right? Pay attention to this, folks, because this is how hypocritical and stupid the left is. Now, you got Bernie Sanders and his ilk out there on the left saying that we need to invest in infrastructure. In other words, government needs to spend the money. And investing in infrastructure will create jobs. And all the left out there is saying, yeah. We need to tax more, tax these people to get to pay their fair share so we can invest in infrastructure because it'll create millions and millions of jobs, right? Yeah, absolutely. And then you get the Keystone Pipeline, which is all privately funded. Oh, that ain't going to create any jobs. Oh, that's going to create 10 jobs. That's not going to... what? It's infrastructure. You're telling me that the government can spend money on infrastructure, spend more than a private company for the exact same thing, but the government is going to create thousands and thousands of jobs off that infrastructure, but a private company is not? Who's going to do it faster, better, and under budget, but they're not going to create any jobs. I kid you not, I've heard, You go to social media, folks, and you hear all kinds of really ridiculously low numbers. The Keystone, I heard somebody, well, not heard, but I saw somebody say, yeah, and they tried to give facts on it. You know, by giving links. That the Keystone Pipeline, when all is said and done, would only create 10 permanent jobs. I was flabbergasted. I asked, do you really believe that? We're talking a pipeline thousands of miles long, and it's only going to create 10 permanent new jobs. What world do you live in? But we can go and spend, $50 million by rebuilding 10 miles of a highway, and that's going to create hundreds of jobs, we're told. Wait, so a 1,000-mile pipeline that is going to cost millions and millions and millions of dollars to build is only going to create 10 permanent jobs to maintain it. But a road, a 10-mile stretch of highway, it's going to cost about $50 million or whatever to rebuild, is going to create hundreds of jobs. Well, what happens when the road is completed? And how many permanent jobs is that road going to create when it's completed? It's not even 10. So you're saying that, yeah, it's a bad idea to build the Keystone Pipeline because all those construction jobs that the pipeline is going to create is going to go away. But it's a good idea to build a new road because it's going to create hundreds of construction jobs. But it's going to create no permanent jobs when it's done. But yet they want to talk about income equality and taxing the rich so they can go and redistribute it, right? These people need to be defeated. They need to be defeated soundly. Because this type of arrogance, this type of ignorance, this kind of stupidity is dangerous for any country, not just the United States. I don't care if they're in Canada, if this type of stupidity is in Canada, if it's in Mexico, if it's in, England, or if it's in France or Russia. It's dangerous no matter where you are. Because all it does is create a class system, a class warfare system, a system where people cannot move by their own work, by their own ideas, by their own motivation. They will not be able to move from one economic level to another freely because the government is going to slap them down every time they try. That's what it's all about, folks. It's all about control. All about control. Hey, yeah, I got something here that I wanted to do for a friend of mine, and it's for Freedom in America Radio. Now, Freedom in America Radio, they're one of the networks that this program is syndicated through, and he's the owner and founder and owner of the Freedom in America Radio, is a big fan of this program. And he's, if you really should, freedominamericaradio.com, I do believe it is. Check him out on Facebook. He's got some good hosts, good programs over there that I'm sure that you will enjoy. And he's got good taste, obviously, because he has my show over on his network. So he has impeccable taste. But there was something that was created especially for him. And I want to debut it here on the Rod Eccles Show for Freedom in America Network. Now, I'm not going to say anything more about it. I'm just going to, here it is. Just give a listen, folks.
Hi, folks. This is Barack Obama, President of the United States of America. And I'm coming to you from some cavern somewhere that keeps me safe. Folks, listen to me. You all know that I own the mainstream news media. That's right. I have them in my pocket. And they broadcast whatever my administration and I tell them to broadcast. Now, as the president, I have to know the real news. What's really happening in the world. So I listen to the Freedom of America Radio Network. at freedominamericaradio.com. So I know what's really happening in America. The land that I hate, the land that I love and don't want to destroy. So I'm going to make an executive order so that no one else can listen to Freedom America Radio Network. And so I'm telling you, don't listen to Freedom in America Radio. This is Barack Obama, and I approve this act.
And there you have it, Freedom in America Radio Network. You want to go over there and give them a listen. Test out their programs, their shows. Go over to their Facebook page, like their page. Tell just say hello to Billy. Tell Billy that I sent you. And he's the founder and owner of the network, and it's a real digital radio station. That it's 24/7, 365. It's real, folks. It's real, and he's a wonderful person, a wonderful man, a great patriot. And I don't actually get to talk to him as often as I probably should or I'd like to, but he's a really good guy. And he's got a good network. So give it a listen over there. And you'll probably get to hear Barack Obama over there a lot more, because I don't particularly like playing Barack over here, because Barack, he gets on my nerves. But over there, they have a secret. I understand they have a secret microphone planted in the White House, so you might hear a bunch of Barack stuff over there. Just I'm just giving you the heads up on that kind of stuff. Anyway, here's something from Newsmax. 31 million left uninsured by high healthcare costs. So says a report. Now, I thought everybody was going to what is the reason for Obamacare if we still have, and you know that it's more than 31 million. So what, I mean, before they remember when they said that there's 40 million people, 40 to 30, actually it was 37 to 50 million people in this country that are uninsured. Now, forget the fact that many of them, they chose not to have insurance, or they were also including people that didn't have the kind of insurance that they thought that they should have. I was one of them. I used to have something called a major medical plan. Well, major medical plans are now pretty much, for most of us in this country, are illegal. Can't get them. But I like mine. Hey. You can, if you like your plan, you can keep it. You like your doctor, you can keep him. Well, I like my plan, couldn't keep it. And therefore, doctors, no, I don't know. I don't think I have a doctor anymore. In fact, I don't, because my primary care physician that I had for about 10 years, he no longer practiced medicine. He's out. So no, I didn't get to keep my doctor. But now, we fast forward a few years after this law was, jammed down our throats in the dark of night, and we still have 31 million plus people underinsured and uninsured by high healthcare costs. Remember, this was supposed to be, healthcare was supposed to be, the insurance cost was supposed to drop, remember? The cost of it was supposed to be a lot more affordable. In the end, it's become less affordable for a multitude of families and individuals, but they got to have it, or else, they're going to get fined, and those fines at some point are going to turn into heavier fines, and those heavier fines are going to eventually turn into jail time. You better believe me, folks. Roughly 1/4 of people with health insurance are paying deductibles and out-of-pocket expenses that are so high they are considered underinsured, a new study has found. Now, the 2014 National Health Insurance Survey by the Commonwealth Fund estimates that 31 million plus insured people are not sufficiently protected against high health care costs. A figure that has doubled since 2003. Oh, I guess that's the kind of change that they're talking about here, folks. Yeah, this is the kind of change that Obama was talking about. Having your costs double for something that if they would have left it alone, it wouldn't have been doubled. No, but they had to go ahead and tinker with it and demand it and order it and make it a law and say, you got to have this, this, and this, whether you need it or want it or not, whether you can afford it or not, because it's going to be good for you. Remember, this government's, they're just looking out for you. You know, that's the whole reason behind forcing you to wear seatbelts. It's the reason, they don't want you to eat sugary food, snacks, and drink sugary soft drinks. It's the reason why they don't want you to smoke. The reason why they don't want you to be rich. Why they want to tax if you want to be rich. Because, the government knows what's best for you. And they know it's not best for you to be wealthy. It's not best for you to decide what type of health care health insurance that you want. Or even if you want it. Oh, no. You got it. You're responsible for it. Oh, forget the fact that, I can pay my own bills, but no. You got to have it. Because, hey, after all, even if you can't afford to go to the hospital on your own, not everybody can do it. And that's being selfish on your part, not being willing to pay for somebody else who can't afford to pay for their health care. Oh, yeah. You got to be fair. We got to be equal here. Just because you can afford it doesn't mean that your neighbor can afford it. And if your neighbor can't afford it, it's unfair that you're not contributing to pay for your neighbor. Well, I thought my neighbor had a job. Well, your neighbor does have a job. Well, then my neighbor can pay for his own health care. No. Because you have a Cadillac plan. Well, no, I don't. It's called a major medical, and I pay for it out of my own pocket. Oh, that's not fair. Because your neighbor doesn't have it. Well, he could get it if he wanted to, but your neighbor doesn't have it. Well, he can get it if he wanted it, but your neighbor doesn't have it. So we got to be fair. And this is fair, I guess. Doubling your health care cost. That's fair. Because evidently, it's unfair for you to have low-cost health insurance. That's unfair. In order to be fair, you got to double it, Jack. Now, the report said that rising deductibles is the biggest problem for those considered underinsured, even with the advent of Obamacare. Well, it's not even with the advent. It's because of the advent of Obamacare that these deductibles have gone sky high. You hear it all the time. People saying, I had a $500 deductible, but then we couldn't keep our old insurance plan like the president promised. And now I find not only has my premium every month gone from $400 to $700 a month, but my deductible has gone from $500 to $2,000. And there are similar stories like that all over the country. Not only has their monthly premium gone up, but so has their deductible. So more money is coming out of their pocket every which way they look. But that's fair, according to Obama, Pelosi, Reid, and Bernie Sanders. Because it's unfair for you to not have the same type of policy or plan that your neighbor has. Even though your neighbor could have gone out and gotten something better if he wanted it, or could have gotten something less expensive if he wanted it, but he didn't have it, and that's not fair. Look, folks, this whole notion of fairness, it's going to kill us. It literally now with Obama, fairness is going to kill you in the hospital. I'm telling you, folks, don't doubt me. Don't doubt me.
Daenerys Targaryen. She says she is the mother of dragons. But would you trust her with your kids? Her father was a maniac. She palled around with Dothraki terrorists. She asked the city of Karth for a government bailout. Then she lost 3 baby dragons after placing them in an unlocked wooden box. An unlocked wooden box. This Khaleesi wants to be queen of the 7 kingdoms, but can she be trusted? Daenerys Targaryen. Wrong for dragons. Wrong for the realm. Paid for by the Committee to Protect Dragons.
We don't know anything about him.
He was never really vetted. Is he really the true-born son of Robert Baratheon?
All over the 7 kingdoms, people are asking the same question. Who is the real King Joffrey? The people of Westeros are hurting. Winter is coming. Crop yields are falling, and the price of fuel is going up.
The cost of peat moss is through the thatched roof.
And this young and inexperienced king takes advice from a whoremongering imp and has launched an illegal war in the north. What is King Joffrey hiding? This is not our kind of family values. King Joffrey. What a bastard.
What a bastard.
Paid for by the Young Baratheons for Freedom. Robb Stark. He's the biggest celebrity in the North. But his father was a traitor. He arrested his own mother. His bastard brother deserted the Night's Watch. And he couldn't defend his own castle. Worst of all, Robb Stark hasn't stopped the wildlings from invading our lands and taking our jobs. He even has an illegal alien for a nanny. And now he wants to be king in the North? King? Some people say he's really a wolf. Some people say he eats dead people. We can't wait until it's too late. Send a raven to Winterfell now and tell Robb Stark to go back home. Stop eating dead people and defend the damn wall. This ad paid for by Crossbows GPS.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With a Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
When you can't find anything to watch on cable, you get bored. When you get bored, you listen to radio cooking shows. When you listen to radio cooking shows, you invite a friend over for dinner. When you invite a friend over for dinner, you use twice as many beans. When you use twice as many beans, you expel deadly farts that kill your friend's dog. When you kill your friend's dog, your friend becomes unstable. When your friend becomes unstable, you're sued for everything you're worth. When you're sued for everything you're worth, you're thrown to the streets. When you're thrown to the streets, you devote your life to world domination. When you devote your life to world domination, you become an evil fascist overlord. When you become an evil fascist overlord, old friends plot their revenge. When old friends plot their revenge, you are shot in the back of the head. And when you're shot in the back of the head, you miss your jazzercise appointment. Don't miss your jazzercise appointment. Upgrade to Indirect TV. Go online or call 1-800-DIRECT-TV.
Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven ultra-lipo-stick. Carbohydrates are bad, bad. Our carbo-fighting antioxidant is good, good. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My name is Gail, and I lost like 20 pounds on Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Jared, and I lost 46 pounds using Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Zach, and I actually gained weight. This stuff sucks!
Ultra Lipo Stick is safe and easy to inject. Just 3 doses 4 times a day discreetly underneath your fingernail. Listen to this.
I used Ultra Lipo Stick and suffered from side effects like uncontrollable greasy discharge.
Ultra Lipo Stick, it turned the armpits of all of my shirts orange. This stuff is crap.
Try it today and see some real results. Ultra Lipo Stick. Not available in stores. Results may vary.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
Rising deductibles is still the biggest problem for those who are considered to be underinsured. Now, they're underinsured because of the mandated higher deductibles. Think about this for a second. Before they were, they were perfectly fine. Many millions of people were perfectly fine with the type of plan that they had. Maybe they wanted a few more bells and whistles and it wasn't offered, but they generally were happy with what they had. Their deductible was something that they could afford, that they wanted. They were paying for the lower deductible. Few extra bucks per premium payment gave them a lower. It's just like a car insurance. If you want a $100 deductible, your car insurance premium is going to be higher than if you want a $500 deductible. So people chose the deductible that they wanted. And now all of a sudden, not only has their premium gone way up, but so has their deductible. But they were not considered to be underinsured before Obamacare. Obamacare has made them underinsured. Folks, I don't know how else to tell you. Think about that. Their deductible has doubled since 2003. 2003, there was no Obamacare. They were not considered to be underinsured back then. And now they're being considered underinsured because of the deductibles have more than doubled since then. And they can't afford that new deductible and pay the higher monthly premiums. And this all comes about because of what? Because of Obamacare. So Obamacare has made 31 million insured people underinsured. Let that sink in for a minute. Let it sink in. Welcome and hello, my fellow Americans. It is I, your lovable host, Elrod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere in the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. It is Hump Day, Wednesday, May the 20th in the year of our Lord, 2015, as we enter the second hour of probably the fastest 2 hours on internet talk radio here on the Rod Eccles Show. Yeah, it's Wednesday already. It's the 20th of May. It is the 20th of May already. I mean, this weekend is Memorial Day weekend. Do you guys, can you believe that already? Don't get me wrong. I'm happy. Oh, by the way, for all you global warming people, it is going to be rather unseasonably chilly the next few days. And as a matter of fact, tomorrow night, there's a frost warning. People who have set out because I think somewhere around the 15th to 20th is supposed to be the last frost for my region up here in New England, and we're going past the 20th. So on the 21st and the 22nd, they're issuing a frost warning. So much for global warming. We're having an extremely late frost possible. And the thing is that, up north, there is going to be frost. And that's going to kill a lot of stuff, actually. Up north, there's going to be frost. And that'll probably damage the fall foliage, as I like to say, foliage season. Because if you damage the leaves early on, it might be early enough for them to recover, but it could affect. I've heard people talk. It could affect the fall color this year. And right now, it's been kind of dry. Haven't gotten a lot of precipitation. So again, if you have a dry summer, dry growing season, the color is not going to be very brilliant. So here's hoping that, you can't hope too hard and too loud and pray too hard and too loud for rain to come. Because I remember a year, because June is right around the corner, and I remember a summer where it rained every single day in June except for 3 or 4 days. We had precipitation every day except for about 3 or 4 days in June. We don't want a repeat of that, honestly. Rain once a week is good. If Mother Nature wants to be perfect, raining once a week was probably good. A good soaking rain once a week. Bring in the clouds, let it rain all day, as long as it's not a weekend. Let it rain all day. Be a gray, dreary day for a day, and let that rain soak, a good couple of inch rain, just soaking in all day long, nice and slow, soft rain. And that's the perfect kind of rain. You get like 2 or 3 inches, but it happens over, like, say, a 24-hour period instead of over an hour. And it's allowed to soak in instead of run off, and everything gets nourished, once a week. Maybe twice a week, maybe on a Monday and maybe on a Thursday, and we're good to go. That would be the perfect thing. If we ever get a weather net system like Star Trek, which I doubt we will, but if we ever did, there's the request. Monday and Thursday rain every week, that like clockwork. You don't want winds. Well, everybody's kind of depressed on a Monday anyway, so you just might, and nobody's, unless it's a holiday. Nobody really likes to take Monday off. So as long as it's not a holiday, let it rain on Monday. If it's Monday's a holiday, then rain on Tuesday. But you don't want the middle of the week to be dreary because people are, they're already struggling. And you definitely don't want Friday to be dreary because, you don't want the ground to be soaking wet on Saturday. Right? So given the Thursday, it gives it a day to kind of, for all the surface water to soak in and dry out. And the sun will come out and people get excited because of the weekend. And then you have a beautiful weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Well, Rod, what about the people whose weekends aren't Saturday and Sunday? What about people whose weekends are Thursday and Friday? Well, get a job where your weekend is Saturday and Sunday. That's all I got to tell you. Because the majority of people have Saturday and Sunday. Well, what if you're a first responder? Well, then you're used to bad stuff anyway, so it isn't really going to make a difference. Just saying. The number that you can call this evening, should you wish to discuss any of the topics that I've been discussing tonight, is toll-free 603-835-3224. That's 603-835-3224. And if you have a policy, a health insurance policy under Obamacare, where your deductible has doubled or more than doubled, and your premium has also gone up, you might want to contact Bernie Sanders and let him know. and tell him that, this income inequality stuff that he's been trying to fight, that fight isn't working so well because it's putting you in the poorhouse. But then he'll probably reply to you and saying, well, that's exactly why we need to tax the rich, because we need to put everybody in the poorhouse, not just the middle class. Believe me, that he will not say it in those words, but that's exactly their plan. Everybody needs to be in the poorhouse so the government can take care of everybody. But the problem is that if you eliminate the rich, if you eliminate the wealthy, if you eliminate the middle class, who's going to pay all the taxes to pay for everybody? It's got to come from somewhere. So there's a limited amount of, there's a finite amount of money that goes around. Believe it or not, and value and wealth is unlimited, but when you're actually talking on a taxable basis, there is a finite amount. And if you take too much away from certain groups of people, well, they're not going to have the money anymore. And therefore, your tax source is going to dry up. But your payments are not. So either you're going to have to raise taxes on those who are currently still being able to pay taxes, and they're soon not going to be able to, or you're going to have to cut the so-called benefits. And we already see what happens when you do that. Greece happens, and all hell breaks loose. And we've seen that this country can have all hell break loose. Baltimore, anyone? L.A. LA riots, that type of. Now you multiply that by multiple cities, and you can see that there's a real potential here. Real potential for problems, definite problems, and we don't want problems. You know what? I would. My goal is to someday not have anything to talk about, because everything is right as rain. Can you imagine if there's a time when there's nothing to talk about because everything is right as rain? I would like that. That would be so very cool, if you will. But we're not going to get there because unless we start really voting out all these leftists. Speaking of leftists, Boy Scouts of America. Now, I was a Boy Scout, and I don't know. Well, I do know what's happening to the Boy Scouts. It's they're being sued and they're being talked about and lambasted from all corners of society right now, and they're still trying to remain relevant. But capitulating to people, to these special interest groups, is not going to make the Boy Scouts more relevant. It's just not. But Boy Scouts of America, and this is a WashingtonTimes.com story. I picked this up from the Washington Times. Boy Scouts of America bans water gun fights because pointing a firearm at somebody is not kind. Yeah, I kid you not. Pointing a water gun at somebody is not kind. Now, forget the fact that everybody wants to participate in a water fight. And, in water fights, people use water guns, they use hoses, and a hose often looks like, with the nozzle on it often looks like a gun. They use buckets and balloons. Well, I guess you're really not going to, because a balloon is like a grenade, I guess. So you're probably not going to be able to do that. But but they're just saying water gun fight. So I guess a hose and a bucket and balloons will be fine. But balloons they pollute because the balloon bursts and it's on the ground, and then everybody gets to go walk around and try to find and pick up the balloon pieces, and they don't always get all those. And the birds will eat the balloons, and then they'll die because they ate the balloon pieces because they think it's candy or something. But yeah, the Boy Scouts and then the Boy Scouts will begin to ban everything else as well. But the reason is because, one of the directors of the Boy Scouts of America said, a scout once said to me, I thought a scout was supposed to be kind. Well, how is pointing a gun at somebody being kind? And he said, well, okay, it's not. So let's forget the fact that the Boy Scouts is kind of built off of a semi-military type of program, Christian military type of program. When it was first started, the Scout is always prepared. And prepared, they do camping, and they do kind of quasi-military stuff. Have uniforms and stuff, and they march and they stand at attention and things like, and they do things with the flag that's proper. But no, pointing a gun is not kind. It's not, the Scout is trustworthy and kind. And the Scout doesn't do things that are not kind. And pointing a gun at somebody, even though it's a water gun that everybody likes to use and have fun with, because it's just really, cooling you off on a very hot summer day, and it's just a lot of fun. But no, it's not kind. Not kind. So you're not going to be able to, have water gun fights in the Boy Scouts anymore. I'm not making this up, folks. This is from WashingtonTimes.com. And I know there are people out there probably thinking, oh, he's making this up. And I got to tell you, I'm not making it up. I almost thought it was a joke. I did. I thought it was a joke story. It was like an ad or something, which is why I went in as it came across my feed. I'm like, yeah, no. This is not for real. It's a joke. But yeah, it's for real. Boy Scouts of America is going to ban water gun fights. Because pointing a water gun at somebody is not kind. Well, I would beg to differ, because if it's a hot day and you're not at a pool or a beach, it might be very kind to douse somebody with cooling water. Look, I remember they have these, water cannons now, the playthings. Not just a water pistol anymore. We have water rifles and we have water bazookas, basically. You go to Toys R Us or some toy store, and you got a plethora of water gun type devices to choose from little small spy types that. But the problem with those is they always leak. So it's not like you can hide a water gun in your pocket, but you can. They do have water guns that are very good and they don't leak. There is something that some of you might remember this, and I guess this is something that they're probably Boy Scouts won't allow either. But if you remember, there was an 80s movie. And it was called The Assassination Game. Now, The Assassination Game, the movie, was based on an actual game played on college campuses across the country, across the world, really. And it was called Killer. Now, it was actually a real game, and it was kind of like a spy game. And you actually, back then, there was a central agency, if you will, a person running the game. And you were a spy. You were an assassin. And you were playing against other assassins. And the wonderful part is that you most likely didn't know who the other assassins were. So everything was kept, hush-hush, secret. And what happened was that you go at a certain time and you'd get your assignment. Now, your assignment, had a picture of the person that you were supposed to hit. Now, the problem is that, well, it wasn't a problem, but the fun is that while you were looking for that one person to hit and eliminate, somebody had the assignment to eliminate you. So it was kind of a cat and mouse type of thing. And one of the ways that you could eliminate somebody was shooting them with a water gun. You could only use non-lethal things, and things that didn't hurt. So you couldn't use like paint guns back then. Paint guns like then off limits. BB guns off limits. Obviously, real guns off limits. But you could use things like Nerf guns and water pistols and water balloons. You could drop a water balloon in somebody. Now on my campus, when I was in college, they had these guns, water pistols, that were superb. They were not cheap back then. But the thing is that they didn't leak. So you could fill them up and stick them in your pocket or something, and they wouldn't leak. So when you saw your assignment on the college square, you could quickly shoot them. Now, the whole point is that there are different varying rules for different campuses. Now, on my campus, the rule is that you had to do your best to not be seen. In other words, you couldn't be in the middle of, the college quad, if you will. You couldn't be in the quad with, 500 students around and then blatantly, water blow away your target, because now you've been compromised. So you'd be out. So you had to do it as secretive as possible. And one of the ways you do it is, you could actually walk up to the person, as you're walking by and squirt them. And then it's a kill. So you'd get their card of the person that they're supposed to assassinate, and you take it back to Central Command, and he would mark the person off that you eliminated. And then your new target was that person, that person's target. And it came down, to who the last two assassin spies were. And everybody who's participating in the game, they're all, constantly on camp looking, who is it? Who are the last two? And how are they going to get each other? Because now when you're the last two, now you both have each other's cards. So you know who each other is. So now it gets really fun. So it's really spy versus spy type of thing. And it was really kind of interesting. But I'm telling that kind of stuff awfully, because that's not nice, right? Even though everybody's participating and having a good time and having fun, it's just a bunch of fun. I know we are probably training would-be spies and assassins on college campuses all over the country by playing this game. And I remember when we wanted to bring it to my college campus. Well, you had to have an advisor, and of course, this college advisor was a professor. His first thing was, this in the movie, people actually got killed. So what are you going to do to stop that? And we're like, Professor, that's a movie. Nobody's concerned about somebody actually using a real gun. And besides, but this is the type of liberal mentality that we had even back then. I mean, it's nuts. Liberals don't want you to have fun. And they will press and press and press until they get even the most conservative of groups and believers into not having any fun. Because they're so miserable. Liberals are typically miserable people. When was the last time you actually saw Bernie Sanders be happy and smile about something? We see Clinton, Hillary Clinton cackling every once in a while. But it's usually a nervous cackle because she's trying to laugh off somebody's question of something that, that if she doesn't answer properly or the right way, or if she answers at all, is going to put her in a lot of hot water. But, honestly, you don't get liberals that actually walk around and look happy. I mean, they act miserable and angry all the time. You should probably just start calling them angry young liberals and angry old liberals, because they don't want anybody to have any fun. It's not a good thing to want to, cool somebody off with a water gun. No. Even though President Obama participates in such a thing at Camp David with his kids. You won't be able to do it anymore. Sorry, Mr. President. You liberals have spoken. No more fun.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. Call InventHelp today.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-352-1609. That's 1-800-352-1609.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
603-835-3224 is the number to call if you wish to weigh in on anything that I have been discussing with you this evening. We are here Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. live, and you can find us all over the web, all over the internet or interwebs, on various networks throughout the day, even on the weekend. And you can find out where you can listen to the program other than here on my website, rodeccles.net, as well as read some compelling blog post articles that are also syndicated all over the place in places like Clash Daily and CNS News and many, many other places. So you want to check those out. That's rodeccles.net. Look, I don't really. I'm not one, because you got to be careful, because you don't want people saying that you are anti this or anti that when you're not anti that particular issue. And the same thing with this gay thing here. But this is a WND.com story. Father to marry son with court's blessing. Now, that title grabbed my attention big time. I'm like, what? So what I thought was it was a stepfather who decided that he was gay, and the stepson was gay, and I was thinking that the father was like 50 something, and the son was like 20 something, and they decided that they were going to get married, and the court said yay, but that's not exactly how it worked out to be, as I read the story. And it's rather ingenious. Now, as I have said before, if gays want to have the same types of legal rights that straight married people do, there are various different ways that they can go about achieving that. And this one, quote unquote, couple figured out how to do that. And rather ingenious, actually. But you have to understand that this is opening a door here. This is opening a Pandora's box that we may not be able to shut. And here's why. Now, the Pandora's box, this is from WND.com. The Pandora's box of same-sex marriage has just released a new pairing unimaginable a few short years ago. 2005, this wouldn't have been possible. We wouldn't have thought of it. Today, 10 years later, yes, possible, plausible, doable, happening. Norman MacArthur and Bill Novak, father and son, though not biologically, will soon be husband and husband. Reports Patch of Bucks County, Pennsylvania. The pair are both in their 70s. So you're probably thinking, what? How can it be father and son if they're both in their 70s? They've been together for 50 years and registered in New York City as a domestic partnership or domestic partners back in 1994. But when they moved to Pennsylvania, they discovered their domestic partnership wasn't recognized. The legal same-sex marriage was nowhere to be found on the horizon. Now, needing to take care of estate planning issues, the pair pursued a novel legal approach. Novak adopted MacArthur back in the year 2000. The fact that their parents were deceased removed any legal objection whatsoever. So both of them are in their 70s, and Mr. Bill Novak decided to adopt his partner, Norman MacArthur, therefore making Norman MacArthur Bill Novak's son. Again, you can't make this stuff up, folks. It was the only legal method we could use in Pennsylvania to give underpinning to our relationship, Mr. MacArthur said. Now, when the United States District Court declared unconstitutional Pennsylvania's marriage laws, or anti-gay marriage laws, prohibiting same-sex marriage back in 2014, Novak and MacArthur wanted to tie the knot in marriage, but their earlier legal gambit now became an obstacle. See, Pennsylvania doesn't permit marriage between parents and children. Do you see the quandary now? Do you see the Pandora's box? So a week ago, the father and son, quote unquote, petition to vacate adoption decree was approved, and the pair simply became two single men who are now allowed to marry. I kid you. WND.com, folks. It's the story's there. You can't make this stuff up. That's one of those things you just throw up your hands and look, they found legal remedies to their problems. And those legal remedies, each of them seem to work. And for a time, and all I can say about that is good on you. Is that Aussie saying good job? Good on you. Look, they did it. They figured it's look. So I guess if you're a same-sex partnership and you want to have, take care of your legal rights in your state and that type of thing, then one of you just has to adopt the other. And hopefully, the living parents, if your parents are still living, that they won't object. But I know it has its own problems because now there's family problems and things like that. But yeah. Evidently, they didn't have to change their name when they adopt, so that's fine too, I guess. I'm just bringing this. Look, don't blame me, and I just find this stuff out there. It just comes across my news feed, and I feel like it. You need to know. You need to know this stuff. You need to know what's going, because 10 years ago this couldn't have happened. I mean, yeah, one of them adopted the other back in 2000. But the whole notion that they would do what they did to get the adoption annulled so they could get married, that never would have come across anybody's mind back in 2005. Just saying. Not all change is good, by the way. Just, things are always changing, but not all change is good. They're in their 70s. They're happy. They wanted to be able to, do whatever with their estate. And I say, leave Pennsylvania, go back to New York City. They were okay with it there. Another story on gays. This one from Politico. A study on gay marriage views retracted after allegations of fake data. Now, this happens a lot. From the left, all this fake data stuff. It's infamous with the global warming crowd, but they don't want to acknowledge it. Oh no, yeah, the data can be fake, Rob, but it doesn't change the fact that it's real. Well, if you fake the data, that means the results of your data are fake, so therefore your conclusion cannot be real. But once it's out there, they don't care that the data is fake. They don't care that the conclusion is fake. Now they just believe what they want to believe, and even that fake data proves what they believe. So I know it's so convoluted that it's very difficult, if not impossible, for anybody to wrap their minds around it. But you're lucky because you have me to be able to do that for you, because I can wrap my mind around this because I understand liberals. To you, they make absolutely no sense, and they really don't. But I understand their idiocy and their insanity. And I understand their motivation. So that gives me some insight as to why this happens and why this particular story actually happened. Now, one of the authors of a recent study that claimed that short conversations with gay people could change minds on same-sex marriage has retracted the study. What? Yeah, there were co-authors. Now, Columbia University political science professor Donald Green's retraction this week of a popular article published in the December issue of the academic journal Science follows revelations that his co-author allegedly faked data for the study. Now, when contact changes minds, an experiment on transmission of support of gay marriage. Now, basically what they were saying is that the study was saying using supposedly real extracted data, that when there was a short conversation, when a gay person had a short conversation with a straight person about the need, the rights, the legality, the positivity, if you will, of gay marriage, that the straight person's mind was changed. They became enlightened. Oh, they saw the light. Well, lo and behold, the actual facts as presented in the study was faked. So, in other words, the facts were not facts, they were fakes. It was a fraud. Now, according to the academic watchdog blog Retraction Watch, Green published a retraction of the paper Tuesday after confronting co-author Michael LaCour, L-A-C-O-U-R, a graduate assistant at UCLA. Now, the study received widespread coverage from the New York Times, from Vox, the Huff and Puff Huffington Post, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, and others when it was first released back in December. Now, Green said, "I am deeply embarrassed by this turn of events and apologize to the editors, reviewers, and readers of Science." In an email to Political, Green said he spoke with LaCour by phone on Tuesday and that he maintained that he did not fabricate the data, but told me that he could not locate Qualtrics source files for the surveys of the Qualtrics interface or on any of his drives. Now, Qualtrics was a survey platform that was purportedly used through a company spokesman clarified to Politico that it did not collaborate with LaCour or anyone else on the study. So now Qualtrics are saying, well, we don't know LaCour. We didn't collaborate with him or anybody else in the study, and, we didn't fake it. So Green said, I asked LaCour to write a retraction, and he indicated he would do so, but when it did not appear last night, I sent off my own retraction. Now, here's a professor who's actually, trying to uphold academic and research standards, and LaCour said he was going to, but like any good liberal, he didn't really want to do that because he needed for the study to be believed to be true, because there was an agenda behind it. See, the study was, look, it's very easy to do this kind of stuff. When you already have the result that you want, you will go and try to design a study to fit what you wanted to come out with to your final conclusion that you already come up with. Instead of just doing a study and letting the facts take you where the facts take you. No, in other words, you come up with the premise first. And then you test the premise to come out with the conclusion. In this particular case with liberals, they do it the opposite. They already have the conclusion. Now they're just going to look for the data that gets them back to the premise that they want. And most of the time, the data will not support their predetermined conclusion, so they make up the data. They twist the premise so they can make up the data so it can give them the conclusion that they already knew that they had. They're not looking for truth in science. They're looking for validation of what they already believe. That's not the way science works. On any level. This is how we get global warming crap. They already had the notion or the conclusion that man-made global warming existed. Now, we just have to prove it. But that's not how you do things scientifically. Scientifically is, does man-made global warming exist? That's the premise. That's the question. Okay, let's go find out. Let's not throw any, let's not make up the data. Let's just go let the data guide us where it's going to lead us to the truth. And then at the end of the study, if it's done properly and done right, you would conclude, okay, the data does or does not show that man is the cause of global warming. In this particular case, does not show. But that's not what they did. What they did is said, man causes global warming. So how does man cause global warming? We've got to go out there and find that data. That's how they faked it and came up with it. Same thing here. Straight people, if you talk to them, they'll become enlightened. That was their conclusion, what they believed. It's not the truth, evidently, but that's what they believed. And so now they're saying, okay, now the premise is how do we go out? What is it going to take for straight people to believe to come to our conclusion? Oh, well, we'll just go out and create this evidence here. In other words, they'll fake it so people believe it. And they think that by faking it so people will believe that the study is true, that they will actually, in turn, change their minds. Well, geez, a lot of these people that they're talking to seem to think it's okay. I guess maybe I should reevaluate and think it's okay. Trust me, folks, that is exactly what they were trying to do. However, evidently, Professor Green wasn't fully on board with that idea. Now, the story doesn't tell us exactly how he got involved and how all of a sudden, he came to his senses and realized, oh no, this stuff is fake. But he evidently, he was a whistleblower. And you know what? He should probably watch his back, tell you the truth. I'm not kidding on this one, folks. He should watch his back. Because it's not, well. So in another email to Political Liqueur wrote that he has read the investigation and will respond. He says, I'm gathering evidence and relevant information so I can provide a single comprehensive response. I will do so at my earliest opportunity. Now, the investigation into the paper began when graduate students at the University of California in Berkeley were initially impressed with the work and wanted to do an extension of the study. Now, according to a timeline on their probe posted on Tuesday, when the students started a similar study, they found they were not getting the large response rate that Green and LaCour received on theirs. So red flags went up. And the kids were like, oh, man, how come we're not getting the same response and results as these guys got? And believe it or not, they were being good students here. They wanted to they were probably trying to figure out what they were doing wrong. And in their investigation trying to figure out what they were doing wrong, they came across, well, this doesn't seem real. It's got to be fake. But nobody bothered to do a peer review of this? Well, no, they didn't bother to do a peer review of it simply because the conclusion was the conclusion that everybody within their peer group wanted in the first place. So the students' report chronicles numerous irregularities of the study, which they said allegedly consisted of repeated observations of the same 11,948 voters over a series of weeks, including the use of the feeling thermometer survey technique, which they called notoriously unreliable in terms of measurement error. In other words, they were using a method of determining people's responses that is known to be fakery. It's not accurate. However, in both studies, respondents' feeling thermometer values are extremely reliable, more so than nearly any other survey items in which we are aware, the report states. But if that's more reliable, which is not reliable at all, then the rest of the study obviously is also not reliable. So that's how it came about. Somebody just, these students wanted to do an extension of it. They weren't getting the results, that they thought they should be getting because, this other, for the study that they're basing their study on was getting these huge results and huge return, and they weren't getting anywhere near that. So they said, well, wait a minute, there's a problem here. Is it us or is it them? And they wanted to find out. So they looked at their data and they said, well, no, it's them, not us. And here's the real thing. People don't change their minds when you talk to them. That's basically what's happening here. A short conversation isn't changing. So, again, this whole notion that now the majority of Americans in the majority of states are for gay marriage is bogus. It's bogus. But this is, now you're probably saying, well, Rod, aren't you being anti-gay? No, I'm telling you this simply because this is the premise that liberals go on for just about everything. It is amazing how we have an overwhelming majority of people who do not like this a particular liberal idea or ideal, and then all of a sudden, over a short period of years, all of a sudden, everything is flipped. This is exactly what happened with gay marriage. This is what happened with Obamacare. Oh, no. People actually like Obamacare now. Really? How is that possible when so many people, 31 million of them or more, are now underinsured that weren't underinsured, 10 years ago, and all these people that are still not really covered, and people who now didn't get to keep their doctor or get to keep their plan, and they have something that they didn't want to begin with. How does that mean that the overwhelming majority now support Obamacare? It doesn't. It just means that this is the way that liberals try to trick us into getting something that we don't want in the first place, because they say, well, everybody else over here, all your neighbors like it, you're the only holdout. So then people say, well, I guess if my neighbors like it, I guess I better look at it and I better like it too then, because I don't want to be the idiot. And this is how they get their numbers, because they fake it all, folks. Doesn't matter what it is. This is just a prime example of how they do it. And for the first time, it has been put down in print on the Politico, which is not exactly a total conservative ragmag. They put it down on paper exactly how they achieved this goal. And so now you know how they do it from day to day. Told you. I'm out of time for today, folks. We'll be back here tomorrow, so be here or be square. I'm Rod Eccles. This has been the Rod Eccles Show. I'm out.